men so that we can change the world and bring about a better world. We thank you, Father, for giving us the equipment and the ability to be able to articulate your truth to people who don't know it and don't understand it. I ask even today, Father, that you make the clarity of the message clear. Cause there to be understanding, cause there to be revelation, but most of all, Father, cause in us a doing and a longing to please you and to do your will. With all our might and with all our strength, and we give you worship, praise, and adoration. So be it. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated in the presence of Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you. Father's good, isn't it?
Yes.
They say that it's hot in here, but there is a place that's hotter than this, isn't it?
I don't want to go there.
See, right now we can be quenched a little bit from the heat, right? I don't know what it's about 90, 93 outside, 97, I don't know. But it's hot outside. This ain't Chicago type of weather, is it? We're used to 75, right? And a windy city. We're used to the nice breeze blowing, right? But we ain't got no breeze blowing and no 75 today. So we just thank the Father for allowing us an opportunity just to gather as sons and daughters and to just be obedient and cause us to walk in truth and walk in love. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Today we're going to deal with this whole aspect of overcoming rejection. Overcoming, everybody say overcoming rejection.
Overcoming rejection.
And it's something about the enemy. A lot of times when we try to come into the house of Yah, come and gather among the saints and gather our hearts and our minds. How many people know that the devil don't want us to fellowship? He doesn't want us to gather ourselves together. But how many people know that the devil is a liar? Hallelujah. Y'all know how to say it. Say the devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar.
See, Yahweh always frustrates the works of the enemy. You know, the enemy comes against the true children of Yah, and people don't really understand and know that they can be tools that the devil can use. Because Satan is in people. Are y'all hearing that?
Yes.
And people can smile in your face. People can laugh and joke with you. And then at the same time, they can stab you right in the back, can't they?
Yes.
Hallelujah. But as we begin to walk in truth and walk in the anointing and in the power of Yah, we bind the devil and we speak and declare that all of his works will be frustrated. Hallelujah. In the name of Yeshua, we frustrate all his works.
Yes.
And cause all his works to be frustrated. And we return every evil word, every evil thought, everything that was done evil to us. We say return it back to the sender 1,000 times over. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I thought y'all, didn't David pray for his enemies like that? I think David said, break the teeth of my enemies. Didn't he say that? So there's been words and there's been deeds done to us that was not like the Most High. So we ask for all of those deeds and all those words to be returned back to the sender 1,000 times over. Hallelujah. And I'm so glad that I'm connected with some of the saints that live on Mount Carmel. Are y'all hearing that? See, Mount Carmel was the place where it was Elijah the prophet against the prophets of Baal. And he said, come on out to Mount Carmel and we're going to have a duel. We're going to have a fight. We're going to see who is Yah really hearing. Are y'all hearing that? And I was there. I was there on that mountain. And I understand that he allowed the 400 prophets of Baal, they were coming up against one Elijah. But guess who prevailed at the end? They started praying and cutting themselves, and no fire came down on their sacrifice. But Elijah took his offering and poured water over it, and he called on the Most High Yah, and the Most High Yah answered by fire. Hallelujah. Right in the midst of people who were doubters, right in the midst of people who were spectators, right in the midst of people that didn't want to see the will of Yah being worked in the life of the people. But nevertheless, Elijah called on the name of the Most High Yah, and the Most High Yah answered by fire. So today we're going to see who the Most High Yah is going to truly hear. Hallelujah. So we ask for the Father to return every evil thing and every evil work to return back to the senders 1,000 times over. And before I take it back, I'll add more to it. Hallelujah. So today we're going to, I guess I feel like stirring up the enemy. Hallelujah. Today we're going to deal with overcoming rejection. Overcoming rejection. And today we're going to learn that rejection starts off as rejection, and it ends up becoming the spirit of rejection. And the spirit of rejection leads us to self-rejection. And then it brings along with it 3 other friends. We're going to talk about that today. But today the main thing we want you to know is that you can overcome rejection. Somebody say, I can overcome.
I can overcome
Rejection.
rejection.
Say, we can overcome.
We can overcome
As Israelites. Rejection. Listen, you automatically know and understand that the most rejected people, or the person and the people in the world, have been the Israelites. But even though they have been the most rejected people, at the same time, everybody want to be them. And one of the most rejected people in the world is the Messiah. He was the most rejected person in the world. And matter of fact, in John chapter 1, verse 1 and 1, he's going to tell you how he was rejected. What did it say?
He came unto his own, and his own received him not.
He came unto his own, and his own did not receive him. Y'all think that's rejection? That's rejection, ain't it? You come unto your own. Turn off all the other mics and just keep that one on. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Come on.
But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God.
So as many as received him and did not reject him, to them, everybody say to them, he gave power to become the sons and daughters of Yah. The ones that won't reject him. Are y'all hearing that? Come on.
Even to them that believed on his name.
Even to them that believe on his name. That's a big piece there. The definition of rejection is a sense of being unwanted. The sense of being unwanted. And everybody in here at one time or another has dealt with rejection, or has dealt with the spirit of rejection, or has dealt with being rejected by other people. Everybody in here at one time or another, at one time or another, has dealt with this whole rejection piece. Y'all hearing that? Rejection, again, is the sense of being what? Unwanted. It's the agony of desperately wanting people to love you, but being convinced they do not. They actually may be loving and accepting, but when you are suffering rejection, you are unable to believe or receive that anybody truly loves you. Y'all hearing this? Rejection works subtle to destroy your self-esteem and to destroy your purpose. Rejection. It's designed to destroy your self-esteem. It's designed to destroy your worth. Rejection causes you to feel sorry for yourself. Rejection spurs you to reject other people, and before they have an opportunity to reject you, you already reject them because you feel like that's about to come on, like they're about to reject you, so therefore you reject them. Rejection wants you to base your worth on what you do instead of who you are in Yeshua HaMashiach. That's what rejection wants you to do. It wants you to base your worth based on what you do and not based on who you are in Yeshua. Y'all hearing this?
Yeah.
So what do? You go around trying to please everybody so that they won't reject you. Or you go and try to reject them before they get an opportunity to reject you because you've been dealing with this spirit of being rejected for so long. Children in foster care. People in the prison systems. People in homelessness. Been thrown away
Yes.
all their life dealing with rejection. People in your home dealing with rejection or being rejected or these feelings of rejection. Remember I talked about in your soul houses three things. It houses your thinking, it houses the way you feel, and it houses your choices and decisions. So your mind can be affected, and your mind and the thoughts that come in your mind, and you're thinking certain things, thinking thoughts of rejection, is going to ultimately affect your feeling because you're going to believe what you feel.
Yes.
Even though the thoughts in your mind don't even originate with you, you believe what's in your mind. You thinking it, and you feeling it, you feeling a certain way, so I guess it got to be true. And all of that is going to ultimately affect your choice and decisions. Your thinking, your feeling, and your choosing is the soulish realm. And that's why the book tells us to work out our own soul salvation. In other words, we have to work out what we allow to go in our mind. We have to allow ourselves and work out how we feel about what we're thinking about. And we ultimately have to work out the choices and the decisions. Because I'm here to let you know, every feeling you feel don't mean that it's true.
That's
Right.
right.
That's right. Hallelujah.
The book never said that your feelings is the truth.
Right.
So whether you feeling overwhelmed, whether you feeling unloved, undeserving, unworthy, your feelings is not the truth.
Hallelujah. Speak that.
That's why Yeshua said, you shall know the truth, and it will set you free.
Yeah.
Your feelings come and go. Your feelings are up and down. One day you feel good, and the next day you feel bad. But just because you feel good or bad don't mean that that's the truth. Are y'all hearing this?
Hallelujah.
He says you're going to know the truth. Well, what is the truth? Thy word is the truth.
Hallelujah.
Thy law is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Y'all hearing that? So your feelings and your emotions are not the truth. Yahweh's word is. Some people, because of rejection, they become withdrawn. Others explode with anger and hatred and fighting and bitterly against the pain and the feelings of injustice. Have y'all known somebody dealing with the spirit of rejection and they're so angry or they're so withdrawn? You've been trying to get them out the room and come on and participate, but they so feel and believe that they are not worthy of anything. They can't come around. They have these feelings on the inside, and these feelings begin to dictate what they do. They have feelings of hatred, feelings of anger because of what has happened in their life in regards to rejection. So they start fighting, and they have all of these feelings of pain on the inside of them, and it's causing us to know and to pick up on the signs that these people are feeling rejected.
Yeah.
See, you got to understand and know that even leaders and preachers and teachers and apostles and prophets, they deal with rejection.
All right. Speak it fast.
Are y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Being rejected. And because they are rejected, they begin to put rejection or try to put that on you like you rejected him, and you ain't rejected him at all. You ain't did nothing to him. Y'all hearing that?
Yes.
We're dealing with somebody right now that's dealing with a spirit of rejection.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
A leader.
Yes.
That's a pastor of a church. But he suffers with the spirit of rejection. So he automatically thinks we're rejecting him, and we ain't rejecting him at all. Y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Isaiah 54:6. What did it say?
The Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken, and grieved in the spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused. Saith thy God.
So the Father is telling us that Yahweh has called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth when thou wast refused. So the Father's already talking about this. It's a spirit on these people that's causing them to feel a certain way. They feel grieved, they feel forsaken. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Come on, what it say?
For a small moment have I forsaken thee.
For a small moment. See, you can feel when the Father's presence ain't with you no more.
Yes.
Can't you?
Yes.
Especially when you're in sin and transgression and in iniquity. Even Yeshua himself, when he was on the tree, he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, my Yah, why hast thou what? Forsaken me.
Yes. What he said.
Yeah.
He said, for a small moment have I forsaken thee. Come on.
But with great mercies will I gather thee.
But with great mercy, I'm going to gather you.
Hallelujah.
So it may seem like you're left alone, but you're really not alone at all. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Rejection is common in people who are demonized. The spirit of rejection is common in people who are full of the devil, full of demonic spirits. Rejection, this is because rejection is a wound that usually begins early in life, and a wound left untreated begins to develop into an infection. So we got to deal with some of the wounds that we have received in this life. And if you are honest, how many people still are carrying some of those wounds from the past?
Yeah.
Y'all don't know and realize how many people call me because they got church hurt. Somebody in church hurt their feelings.
Yes.
And because somebody in church hurt their feelings, they don't want to have nothing to do with nobody that's talking about church whatsoever at all. And we're not talking about church. We say that we people of the book.
Right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We ain't coming from that perspective and understanding. But sometimes you have to go through all of that just to bring people out of that first so they can actually hear what you're saying.
Yes.
Because some of our people are the most rejected people there is. And they're dealing with wounds and hurts. And when they open up their mouth, you can tell that they've been infected by something. Something is really bothering them. Something has really went on. Something has really happened to them that has caused them to begin to speak like they're speaking. Yeah. Out of the abundance of the heart, come on, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
See, one thing you can't, you can deceive us by pretending. You can deceive us by smiling, coming to the assembly with a smile on your face. But one thing you can't deceive is when you start opening up your mouth.
Oh, there you go.
Because what's in your heart is going to come out of your mouth.
Yes. That's true.
So these wounds start early in life. Sexual abuse. Having a father or a mother betray you, put you away, do something physically to you that they shouldn't do, abuse you, abuse. Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
These things start early in life. If you're the youngest, then you got your older brothers and sisters to deal with. They're rejecting you. Because now mama's making them do something. Go get the pamper. Go throw something in the guy. I know hearing this.
Yes.
Now there's another young brother, got to feed him now. We got to do something for them now. Spirit of rejection. All right, they begin early in life, and a wound left untreated develops into an infection, And demons are like germs that are attracted to a wound and causing an infection. See, devils and demons ain't stupid. They know when you've been hurt and when you know, what's going on in your life. They understand. Yeah. And they're attracted to the pain of what you've been through in your life. And if you have never dealt with that honestly and openly and gotten some help and some deliverance from rejection, you're already opening up yourself for demonic spirits to come on in and continue to have that wound stay open and never be healed. Y'all hearing that?
Yes, Pastor.
Children who grow up without fathers also lack identity.
Yes.
They lack identity. And this results in a frantic, lifelong search for a father. Y'all don't know how many people I got, friends of mine, in their 40s, in their 50s, never grew up with a dad, and they're still looking for a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're still looking for some kind of validation. They're looking for some type of an approval of a father. Yeah. Many of them are sitting in assemblies all over this world. They're sitting there because their father left, and they're sitting under ministries of men who are doing them just flat out wrong. Ain't being a good example whatsoever at all. But because they know that they have been rejected, the preacher and the leader, whoever it is, plays on that.
Right. Yeah.
Y'all hearing that?
Yeah.
Instead of getting that brother, that sister healed and delivered, they manipulate them. They twist their arm and bend them and thinking that this person is my father. Have y'all ever heard that? My father in the ministry.
Yes.
So the spirit of rejection will cause you to have a lifelong search for a father figure, and it will cause you to reject people who mean you good because they're telling you the truth about yourself, and it'll cause you to be drawn to people that don't mean you any good, and they're not trying to help you one bit whatsoever at all. Right. They're just using you and trying to manipulate you and play on your hurt and on your pain. Wow. And we need to know what our identity is as the children of Israel. Yes. And that's why we talk about who you are. Yeah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Different types of rejection. Another kind of rejection is there is a true rejection, but there's also an imaginary rejection. This imaginary rejection often works through your imagination. In your mind, you feel like you're being rejected. But it's not a true rejection, but you just feel that in your mind. And what happens is, as those thoughts of rejection continue on building up in your mind, the spirit of rejection comes on in. And the spirit of rejection begins to twist your perception of circumstances so it looks and feels like you are being rejected even when you are not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You've been rejected so long by people to now you have opened up your heart and your mind and your soul to the spirit of rejection. And it has now twisted your thought, your mind, your perception. Everything somebody is really doing something to you. Y'all know somebody like that?
Yes.
It's never could be this person is genuine and this person really want to help you. It's always, but what did they mean when they said this? What did they mean when they looked at me like this? A lot of times you can get that just through text message of somebody. You reading the text, right. And then they trying to say, get my keyboard. I'm going to text them back. Bam! Take that. And then the person read what you said, and they say, how did they come up with that? I wasn't even saying it like that. Yeah. But because the spirit is gone, now that it came at you a certain way, now you feeling a certain way. So what you gonna do? Bam, bam!
Pick up the phone.
texting all day, back and forth, and the conversation is building and building and building. To now your feelings, your mind, everything is involved. Instead of somebody picking up the phone and saying, let's stop.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
what you said at first. See, a lot of times we spend so much time reacting where we don't spend time enough being proactive.
Right. That's right.
We stay reactive in that reacting mode. Just, I'm reacting to what you're doing. I'm reacting to what you're saying. And we never are proactive. Bible says a man that cannot control his spirit is like a city without walls broken down.
It's ruthless.
The walls are for your protection. But because you can't control your spirit, you're like a city without walls, without borders, without anything. No protection whatsoever at all. So whatever comes to your mind, whatever feeling you feel from the thought that comes to your mind, you rolling with that. Now the spirit of rejection has now come in, and it's twisting your perceptions of circumstances so it looks and feels like you are being rejected even when you're not. Right. In the natural, it's called misunderstanding.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Anybody been misunderstood?
Yes.
You know, I'm the most misunderstood person ever. Everything I say is always something that somebody can twist to make it into something negative.
Okay.
I'm just being misunderstood by everybody. Nobody knows the trouble I've been through. Right? Makes you want to sing the blues, right? But if you don't cast down the imaginations that ride on the back of misunderstanding, the spirit of rejection will work to form a stronghold in your mind that controls your thought pattern and makes it easy for this demon to hold you in bondage.
Yes.
Because now it's no longer just rejection. You have now invited the spirit of rejection to come on in.
Yeah.
Because you never dealt with the hurt and the pain of what has happened. You never dealt with the misunderstanding. And even coming in here today, there's about 4 or 5 of y'all in this room right now that's been a misunderstanding.
Yes.
As recently as of this morning.
That's true, Pastor.
Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
And instead of working it out, you hold a grudge. And allow that spirit to keep on working on you.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep on holding you in bondage. Y'all hearing that?
Yes. Yes.
When a person, now we're dealing with self-rejection. The spirit of rejection is so in you where it got a stronghold on you. Now you're into self-rejection. When a person has suffered the wound of rejection, he or she begins to reject themselves.
Wow.
That may question themselves. What is it all about me that repels people? What is it about me? Why I ain't got no friends? Why don't nobody want to come and talk to me? Why don't nobody want to have fellowship with me? What is it about me that repels everybody? See, start getting into self-rejection. Must be something I'm saying. Must be something I'm doing. Probably what I got on. They begin to think that if they were different or even someone else, they would be loved and accepted. Everybody say self-rejection.
Self-rejection.
When you start rejecting yourself, you start saying, man, I ain't smart enough to do this. I'm not bright enough. I don't think I'm intelligent to. You start rejecting yourself, and you start speaking, and you hear it in your mind and in your heart. You're hearing words that are negative towards you. Has anybody ever heard a word negative in your mind about yourself? What do you do with that then? What do you do when you speaking negative about your own self in your own mind? What do you do with those kind of thoughts? Because those thoughts are going to continue to grow if you don't do something about it. If you don't stop them. if they start to believe this, they start to seek to change their personality. If you start listening and believing the voices in your mind that's talking negative against your own self, then you start to seek to change your personality.
Wow.
They will want to copy someone whom they observed as being loved by others. All of a sudden, they want to be somebody else.
Okay.
When we seek to imitate others, we are not being our true selves. A lot of this happens in the puberty time. People are transitioning from 11 to 15, 11 to 18, sometime in that little time of life. You seem like you're being rejected by your peers. They're calling you weird, calling you odd, calling you strange. Then you look over and see, well, if they popular over there, maybe I need to be like them. Maybe I need to act like they act. So now you see boys that used to wear their pants up, now they're wearing their pants down. They sag. They want the life of the rap life, looking at raps and all that kind of stuff, getting their image and their identity from that, opposed to getting their true identity from the word of Yah. So now they're changing their image and changing who they truly are because they are rejecting their own self. They reject. It's self-rejection.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
They're imitating the seek and they imitate to others, and they're not wanting to be their true self because their true self always get rejected. Y'all hearing this? When we reject the self that Yah has created, when we reject our own self, we open up ourselves to form an alternate personality, which will be a false self and a demonically inspired you. You refuse to be who Yah created you to be, and you have accepted to be somebody. See, that's what Israel did. Israel wanted to be just like all the other nations. They told Samuel, give us a king so we can be like all the other nations, not realizing that Yahweh was their king. So I guess Israelites had self-rejection.
Yes, they did.
Why we got all this law, statutes, judgments? Them folks over there can do whatever they want to do. We want to be like them. That's when we think the grass is greener. Come on the other side.
Okay.
When we look at everything that glitters ain't gold. Come on now, talk to me here.
That's true.
We looking on the other side of the fence and say, man, if I could be like them, because you already are rejecting yourself. Self-rejection is the door through which the characteristics, multiple personalities of schizophrenia are enabled to enter. That's where it comes from. Self-rejection. You don't like yourself. You don't like your weight. You don't like the way you look. So you become somebody else. I'm just going to be somebody else that the Father ain't made you to be. Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
Rejection from the womb. This is a deep rejection that can begin before birth by rejection from the womb. Somebody who had an unwanted pregnancy because of illegitimacy, economic hardships, or marital upset marks the infant with rejection. Before the infant can come into the world, you've already rejected it.
Yes.
And it feels the rejection while it's in you, inside the mother's womb.
That's true.
Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
Been rejected from the womb. Your deliverance must produce at least two things. First, a deepening love for Yah in every aspect of your life. If you're going to be delivered from self-rejection, the first thing you got to do is deepen your love for Yah in every aspect of your life. And then secondly, you must begin to love your neighbor as you love yourself. You got to start loving yourself. Are y'all hearing that?
Yes.
You got to love Yah, and then you got to begin to love yourself. Somebody say, I got to love Yah.
I gotta love God.
With all my heart,
With all my
mind, with all my strength,
with all my strength.
and I got to love myself.
And I gotta love myself.
See, when you love yourself, you ain't going to treat your neighbor any kind of way because you love yourself. 1 Corinthians 13:1, what it say?
If I speak with tongues of men and of angels,
Come on.
but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal.
If I can speak with tongues of men and of angels, but I ain't got no love in my heart, I ain't nothing but a sounding brass and a clanging cymbal. In other words, this is what you sound like. You sound just like this. This is how you are. That's your life. When you don't have love, that's what you become. Y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Come on.
If I have the gift of prophecy, and I know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I have not love, I am nothing.
When you don't have love, then you're nothing. You hear that?
Yes.
Come on, what it say?
And if I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and if I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profiteth me nothing.
In other words, you can do all these noble things and things that are worthy to in the front of people to be something, but if you're doing it from the wrong perspective and there's no love there, then he said those things really don't matter. Because you gotta do it with love.
Yeah.
Are y'all hearing this?
Yes.
Come on. Let's find out what love does.
Love suffereth long.
Love suffereth long. How long you been married, mother?
25 years.
Has every day been a good day?
No.
You had some ups and you had some downs, right?
Yes.
Almost level to the ground,
Yes.
right? So love suffereth long. No.
Yes, it does.
Hallelujah. How long you been alive, mama? Yeah. 73 years. Has every part of your life been just the blessed part? Every day of your life been just the greatest? You've had some ups and downs?
Ups and downs.
So love suffereth long.
Yes, it does.
Come on.
Love envieth not.
Love is kind. Everybody say love is kind.
Love is kind.
So love suffereth long, and love is actually kind. It's not smart mouth. It's not trying to give a quick answer.
That's right.
But love is actually kind. Ain't that a new thought? Love is actually kind.
Yes.
Come on.
Love envieth not.
Love envieth not. Come on.
Love
Vaunt it.
vaunteth not itself.
Love don't try to lift itself up over everybody. Come on.
Is not puffed up.
It is not puffed up.
Doeth not behave itself unseemly.
It doesn't behave itself unseemingly. Come on.
Seeketh not its own.
It doesn't seek its own. Come on.
Is not provoked.
It's not provoked. Come on.
Taketh not account of evil.
It taketh not account of evil. Oh, you did that to me, so I got to do something to you. Or you think somebody did something to you, and you say, I'm going to do something to you because I think you did something to me. Have anybody heard that before done to them?
Yes.
Somebody think you did something to them, but you ain't did nothing to them. But just because they think you did something, guess what? They gonna, boy, they'll say, I got you now. Because they think it. And again, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if they're doing wrong to you, that's wrong thinking. Especially if you ain't did nothing. Y'all hearing this? Come on.
Rejoice not in the unrighteousness.
Love does not rejoice in unrighteousness. Come on.
But rejoiceth with the truth.
But love rejoiceth with the truth. Woo-wee. Hallelujah. Come on.
Beareth all things.
Love beareth all things. Come on.
believeth all
It
things,
believes all things.
hopeth all
It
things,
hopes all things.
endureth all things.
And it endureth all things. So I don't know what you're going through, but when you have love, you're going to endure everything.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Come on.
Love never fails.
Love never, everybody say love never fails.
Love never fails.
Love will never fail you. Come on.
But whether there be prophecies, they should be done away.
So you can be prophesying until you blue in the face. All that stuff obviously is going to fall away and perish. It's going to go away. Come on.
Whether there be tongues, they shall cease.
Tongues is going to cease. Come on.
Whether there be knowledge, it shall be done away.
Even if you have all the knowledge, boy, as smart as you're going to be, your knowledge one day is going to be done away with.
Right.
Come on.
For we know in part,
For we know in part. Come on.
and we prophesy in part.
And we prophesy in part. Come on.
But when that which is perfect is come, that which is in part shall be done away.
In other words, we're going to see the whole picture one day.
Right.
The parts are going to be removed, and we're going to see the whole picture one day. We ain't going to be prophesying in parts. Come on.
When I was a child, I spake as a child.
See, when you're a child, you can't see everything, can you? You can't see the bigger picture.
No.
But as you begin to develop and grow up, you begin to learn other things and other concepts. You go, oh, okay, now I understand this. And then you go through adolescence, you go through young adulthood, and you start, wow, I'm starting to see. Mother, don't you see things differently
Much different.
than when you was in your
Yes.
teenage years, in your 20s and 30s? Been living a long time.
Yes.
Hallelujah. So when you was a child, you spake and you spoke to people in a very childish way. And people are not only childish in the natural, but people are childish in the spirit.
Yes.
And you can tell by the way they speak it.
Yes.
They ain't grew up yet. When you were a child, spiritually, you speak as children. Come on. You think as children.
I felt as a child.
You feel as a child.
I thought as a
You
child.
thought as a child. Y'all see that? You're thinking and you're feeling. You feel as a child and you think as a child. You think as a child and you feel. Come on.
Now that I become a man,
Now that I become a man, I become, older, wiser, get some knowledge and some understanding about some things. Come on.
I have put away childish things.
I have put away childish things. Y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Come on.
For now we see in a mirror darkly.
We see in a mirror darkly. We're trying to gauge where we are, but we can't. We're looking through a mirror and it's dark. We can't see our full who we are because we're looking dark. See, we don't know what you're going to be. We don't know what the seed of the word is going to do in a heart and a mind that it begins to grow up in and grow. Are y'all hearing this? Grow up in.
Yes.
See, a seed. Matter of fact, when you look at a watermelon seed, anybody saw a watermelon seed in there?
Yeah.
Does that seed look like the watermelon that's in your hand?
No.
When you take a seed from corn and look at that seed of corn, does it look like a corn
No.
stalk? Okay, well that's the same way it is. We don't know when this word begin to be matured in you, what you truly gonna be.
Right.
Because the seeds are going in, but when those seeds begin to mature, those seeds are going to begin to become what that seed of the word that was sown is going to begin to produce after its own kind.
Yes.
Hallelujah. So for we see in the mirror darkly, come on,
But then face to face,
but then face to face,
now I know in part,
now I know in part,
but then shall I know fully, even as also I was fully known.
so one day we're going to know fully everything we need to know. Hallelujah. When we begin to grow up a little, begin to understand at the age of maturity. Come on.
But now abideth faith, hope, love.
But now abiding faith, hope, and love. Come on.
These three,
These three,
the greatest of these is love.
and the greatest of those three, faith, hope, and love, is love. Somebody shout love.
Love.
Hallelujah. A wounded spirit, broken heart, malicious words cause unbearable wounds.
Yes, it does.
Rejection operates in the spirit realm, but also creates physical problems. Proverbs 12:25, what does it say?
Heaviness in the heart of a man maketh stoop, but a good word maketh glad.
Wounds of rejection and a broken heart can produce depression, which alters the countenance and adversely affects the spiritual area of life. When you have a broken heart, a broken spirit, man, your countenance is just, and we can see the brokenness on your countenance, on your face.
That's true.
Proverbs 17:22.
A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit driveth the bones.
That's what a broken spirit do. It dries up your bones, make you be depressed, make you not want to get out of the bed before. I remember a story, and this is a true story. I remember being at the church, and I was leading that church and repentance and leading them. I just got through preaching through deliverance, man. I was at the altar, man, and people looked like they was getting breakthrough, and man, well, I felt the anointing, the power of Yah come on me. People are getting healed, delivered, and set free. And then after all that was done and said, the person who was my leader tapped me on the shoulder and said, man, all that wasn't necessary.
Oh, that was the devil.
Man, we got next week for that. And the week after next. And the week after. You ain't got to do all of that all the time. Just get a word and sit down.
Wow.
Guess what happened to me when I went home? The spirit of depression came. I said, oh, I messed up. I wasn't supposed to get folks delivered and healed and set free.
Wow.
And I felt like I did something wrong. I was just supposed to preach and just let the people go. Even though I could clearly see these people needed deliverance, they needed lots of prayer, they needed help. And I wanted to do that. But in my youth, I was told by somebody older than me to literally stop all of that because we got next week.
That's sad.
Ain't that something?
You don't even know next week gonna ever come.
Don't even know, but I tell you what that did to me. It dried my spirit up to the bone.
Okay, I bet it did.
And I put the covers over my face because that word was so sharp. And if it wasn't for Sister Tahila, Sister John, speaking to me said, you ain't did nothing wrong. Boy, that sister, she lived, I don't even think she knows how deep in depression I felt it coming in on me. I'm like, what is this? This is like, man, this is depressed. I didn't want to lift, I didn't want to put the covers over me just because of that word. And it was said in front of everybody. I was like, oh man, I felt so sad. But she said, you ain't did nothing wrong. You did something was right. And she encouraged me, and she got my face from underneath them covers. And I said, well, hallelujah, you right, honey. You right. I did do something right. When is healing and deliverance in order? Is it only in order sometime, or is healing and deliverance in order all the time?
All the time.
Hallelujah. So boy, I shook depression off of me, but I felt it coming in, coming on me, real strong. But it was lifted off of me. And I thank Yah for Sister Tahila speaking to me those words, because it encouraged me.
Right.
Hallelujah. Proverbs 18:8, what did it say?
The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost part of the belly.
Anybody been lied on before? I mean lied on, like something you like, wow.
Yes.
That's a good one now.
Yeah.
Man. What a story, that joke. Wow. But at the same time, it wounded and it went down to the inner parts of your belly. Boy, you was upset, wasn't you? Yeah. Ecclesiastes 4:12, what it say?
And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and 3/4 cord is not quickly broken.
3/4 cord is not easily broken. What this is about to show you is that you can get so far into rejection and with the spirit of rejection and the self-rejection that that spirit begins to bring some other people, other spirits rather, to make that thing, or make that hold on your mind and your heart stronger. Everybody say the triple threat.
The triple threat.
So the spirit of rejection went to go get the root of bitterness.
Whoa.
Now you got the root of bitterness, the fear of rejection, and self-rejection all at one time trying to hold you down because the 3/4 cord is not easily broken.
Right. All right.
These are powerful spirits that totally warp and destroy the personality of the person. The root of bitterness, the fear of rejection. Y'all see these roots?
Yes.
That's what Satan wants to design to have in your heart, the root of bitterness, where you just bitter. You can't let it go. You keep talking about it. It's been 3 years and you still talking about the same thing. It's been 10 years and you're talking about the same thing. What has happened is there has been a root of bitterness that has set up in you where you can't even let that thing go. They hurt you so bad and did you so wrong until you there's a root of bitterness. And that root of bitterness has to be rooted out of you.
Yeah, that's bad.
The root of bitterness. The roots are always hidden. They are not in plain view. You can't see them, but you can see the fruit of them. You can see the sin manifesting in your life, and that's how we know there's a root down on the inside of you. A root of bitterness. We looking at what you're doing, but you think nobody can see what you're doing. But some people got discerning spirits. That's a gift, to be able to discern spirits. Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
Hebrews 12:1, what it says?
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which now doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
So this is letting you know we are being encompassed with a great cloud of witnesses. And it says, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily beset us. Let us run this race with patience. Because we're all in a race of life. We're in a journey. And we're going through this journey. And we have to walk through this life and this journey with some patience. We fall down, but we get up, don't we?
Yes.
Well, the righteous man falleth 7 times and get back up. And it's something else. People will love to point their finger when they see you on the floor, down. They love to point their finger when they think the Father has cut you down. But they hate to rejoice when they see you rising back up to the top. Because a righteous man falleth 7 times, but he keeps getting back up.
That's right.
Why? Because the buoyancy of Yahweh's word, just like a tree got buoyancy, I don't care how much water, that log in that tree is going to keep on doing what? Rising to the top. And that's how the buoyancy of Yahweh's word has to be in you. When no matter how low or how far you've been pushed down in life, the buoyancy of Yahweh's truth keeps bringing you back up to the top. Hallelujah. Keep on rising. The fruit, the leaves, the trunk, and the limbs of a tree are obvious, but the roots are way down here under the ground. You can't see the roots. We can't see ain't there a lot of roots down there?
Yes, a lot.
You can't see the roots. You can just see the fruit. You shall know them by their fruits. That's how you're going to know who are truly the servants of Yah. You're going to know them by their fruits. This is what the spirit of rejection produces. It produces phoniness. It produces people being people pleasers. It produces an unassertiveness. The fruit of the spirit of rejection, it produces passive and aggressive people. The spirit of rejection, it produces an inability to trust Yah. The fruit of the spirit of rejection, it produces excessive Y'all ever saw somebody that's just excessively shy? You're like, come on and talk. Come on and talk. And they just excessively shy. The fruit of self-rejection produces difficulty loving others. The fruit of self-rejection produces self-criticism. Y'all ever know somebody, or maybe you've done it yourself, just been criticizing yourself? Man, I could have did that. Look, man, I wish I could have. Man, I should have. Self-criticize, just criticizing yourself all the time. Fruit of the spirit of rejection, wishful comparison with others. You compare yourself with somebody else. Over attention on clothes. You got to over attention on how you look. You got to have a certain look about yourself. You got to have the name brands on. You got to have all your colors coordinating. Spirit of self-rejection, it produces floating bitterness. It produces an attitude of perfectional, trying to just perfect and being perfect in every which way. And it's healthy to want to be excellent in the things you do, but when you are a person who spends the rest of your life trying to be perfect, have everything, what they call it, on fleek, have everything on point, and then you put your nose down on everybody else that ain't on point, then you got a problem.
Yes.
It produces an attitude of superiority. I'm better than you. We're talking about the fruit of rejection, or the spirit of rejection. An attitude of superiority. I'm better than you. It produces an awkward attempt to hide unchangeable defects. Your hair is your hair.
Right.
And I don't care what kind of hair weave or whatever you put in it. Your hair roots is your hair roots.
That's it.
Y'all hearing it?
Hallelujah.
Awkward attempts to try to hide unchangeable defects. You try to hide defects that you believe is a defect. Y'all remember that thing Chris Rock did? Talking about good hair, bad hair, whatever. And he brought that hair to the Chinese folks, and they was like, don't nobody want to buy that hair? they kicked the bad, what they would call the bad hair, they kicked that to the side. I said, no, everybody wants long, straight hair. Long, straight hair. Now they selling what they would call bad hair all over the place now, ain't they?
Marley. Yeah.
What's it called?
Marley.
See?
It's got all kinds of names to it.
The spirit of self-rejection produces extravagance. It produces wrong priorities. And we need to ask Yahweh to probe the inner depths of our hearts and souls to reveal hindering things which block or hinder Yahweh's will for our life. What the book say in Romans 12:2, be not conformed to this world, but be what? Transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can prove what is what? Good, acceptable, and perfect will of Yah. That's what we want. Everybody say, I want to be in the perfect will of Yah, but then at the same time, we don't know what the perfect will of Yah is because we're not testing it. Facing these things squarely and appropriating forgiveness for them has a heavy effect in determining our spiritual progress. Psalms 44:21, I'm finished. Closing with this.
Shall not God search this out? For you know what the secrets of the heart.
Come on. Lamentations 3:14.
Let us search and try our ways. Turn again to the Lord.
Let us search and try our way and turn again to Yah. Let's close out with freedom from rejection. If you're taking notes, we give you 5 things on how you can get free from rejection. Y'all ready to close out? Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to close out with this. Number 1, we got to ask Yahweh to show us or show when rejection or the spirit of rejection has came into our life. We have to ask the Father, Father, when did this spirit of rejection come in our life? What was the door that was open that this spirit of rejection has come into my life? Was it before I was born? Did my mother or father, did they want me? You got to ask the Father to reveal. When did this spirit of rejection or me being rejected, when did it come into my life? That's number one, to getting freedom for rejection. Once you begin to identify, going back over your life, when this spirit or when you was rejected and how you begin to analyze how you felt when you was rejected, then you begin to ask Yahweh to come beside you in your rejection so that you can be healed.
Yes.
You got to ask the Father, Father, heal me from that rejection. I remember being rejected in 3rd grade when I wrote that note to that girl and said, will you be my girlfriend? Y-E-S spells yes, and N-O spells no. Circle one of them, please. And then she put, no! So you got the note back and was like, nobody likes me. So now you got to go back to that point and say, Yahweh, thank you for identifying that in my life. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Father, can you heal me from that rejection right there?
Yeah.
She didn't know what she was talking about. She didn't really mean it at all, right? Heal me, Father, from being rejected.
That's
Y'all
right.
hearing this?
That's right.
Third thing, you have to declare your forgiveness to those who have rejected you. Father, I forgive all of those that rejected me down through the years. Even that girl in 3rd grade, I forgive her. Wherever she is in life. I forgive. Y'all hearing this?
That's right.
Can you identify who rejected, when your rejection, the spirit of rejection, or when you were rejected? Can you identify when that came in? You gotta ask the Father. And then ask him to come beside you and to heal you. And begin to declare your forgiveness to those who have rejected you. The 4th thing, you must take your spiritual authority in Yeshua to command the spirit of rejection to leave. Everybody say in the name of Yeshua.
In the name of Yeshua.
Spirit of rejection.
Spirit of rejection.
Leave me now.
Leave me now. Leave me now, Spirit.
You got to do that. You got to command it to leave. And some people may be saying, you may hit a thought in your mind, you ain't got no spirit of rejection. You okay? Don't say that again. Because if you say it a couple more times, what if the spirit gonna come out?
Hallelujah.
So you got to command that spirit, and this is being honest with yourself. Got to be honest with yourself. And finally, you got to remember that Yahweh loves us, and he has called us and has given us an identity as his people, Yisrael. We are the royal priesthood. We are a holy nation. We are a peculiar people that show forth the praises of him who has brought us out of darkness into his marvelous light. So freedom from rejection, we're going to ask Yahweh to show us back over our lives when that spirit or when we were rejected came in. We're going to ask, number 2, Yahweh to come beside us so that he can begin to heal us from being rejected. Thirdly, we're going to declare forgiveness to those who have rejected us. Fourthly, we're going to take the spiritual authority we have in the name of Yeshua to command the spirit of rejection to leave. And the 5th thing, we're going to remember that Yahweh loves us and he has called us and given us an identity as his people, Israel. In other words, we can identify with his people because we are the people that he's called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Shabbat shalom, saints. How many people got something out of that? Overcoming rejection. Y'all got something out of that?